competitively 12 times. So the experience on the competitive side of things is still there. Cloud9 Blue with the higher of the percentages, but here we go, kicking things off, and we're leaning towards that A site.
Definitely. So that A site's going to start for Cloud9 Blue. The boom bot's going to look for some information as well. As it's not going to spot much, you're still going to try to leverage Zeta with the Owl drone, with also the recon dart. And you see that there's 4 players there. It's going to be them exploding into the site fairly soon.
And a very early wall there by Ethan, just to try and keep people corralled outside of that 410 area. People going to get some info that they might be leaning this way, and it's quite possibly a lot slower than we were expecting, Vance.
Yeah, the Owl drone from both sides basically just canceled everything. And when you hear the wall come up and you see the Owl drone from the defender side come up too, you already spot it poised. They're going to get the lurkers and try to get the entry on the B side.
Ooh, and Nitro was looking to do something cheeky, but Relic sniffs it out, and Steel's not able to escape either. A huge couple of kills to open up the B site, but look at the spike, man.
Exactly. Everybody's still hanging out towards the A side. I mean, it all came down to those 2 players of Relics and also Mitch. If they didn't get those 2 kills, you would have had support. But now you get those early frags, you're pushing towards the site, you're pulling the rotation, easy plant on a 5-on-3.
And Mitch still has that barrier orb. He ends up tossing that one out to try and block things from the back of this site, although Heaven not necessarily cleared just yet. Ethan on the flank, but Zeta is there waiting, watching, and finding kills. Now it's down to the last 2, and Cloud9 Blue, at the very least, on this pistol, looking to make this one flawless.
Ooh, flawless, and look at the amount of damage was done. Technically, if the HUD's not broken, 0 damage was done.
Yeah.
Right at that point. So that was a sick round being played for Cloud9 Blue. Even when they got into the A site, they just see the amount of utilities that was still there and available for Cloud9 Blue. They still had the wall up from Mitch. They still had a paranoia from Relics. They still had everything going on their side, probably even a recon dart that is going to get refreshed at that point too, that allows them to just get a very strong post plan. That was a very good round to start for Cloud9 Blue. And for this time, 100 Thieves, you're seeing nothing but classics, so they really want to bring out the weaponry into the 3rd round with the rifles.
And Cloud9 looking to match that, though, picking up a couple of Bulldogs, so going into that bonus, they'll have a bit more firepower than what the Spectres bring in themselves. That spike just now getting picked up towards that spawn, and it is elite. This is the gamble you take, right? On the eco round, you 5-stack somewhere, and sometimes it doesn't go your way.
And it's always going to be Relics. It seems like he's going to be that player that's going to be lurking, trying to watch a rotation again. When you don't have a sentinel for the roster, for the lineup for Cloud9 Blue, you have to anchor with the body. And the body, is it going to be enough for a couple of kills? Good for 1.
Yeah, only 1, and now a gun in the hands of Ethan, who does still have that heal available, so we'll be able to top himself off. Both smokes now down, though, so can't really cut out any of that vision, and I can't imagine for 100 Thieves they're looking to save as they look to all funnel up towards mid. It's a conga line versus conga line, 1 mid, 1 long.
Yeah, with this plant coming up too, I mean, you see the Bulldog being sprayed or whatnot. They might want to try to keep that because it is still a heavy investment that was brought in for Cloud9 Blue. The rest, you're trying to do econ damage, just trying to get some weapons back. It's working so far with Ethan, but for the rest, it still seems that we might seal the deal because that spike's about to go off. So still, very well done for 100 Thieves, right? They still got 3 kills out of that one using nothing but classics. The gamble on the A side didn't pay off for them working towards the A side versus Cloud9 Blue, but at least it kept pressing forward. They got that kill into Relics, and it made things expensive. And again, as you said, they got a couple of Bulldogs in that previous round. Look at how many Bulldogs are in this round. 0. And you have full rifles now for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves definitely making that one hurt. In this bonus round, you have a couple of philosophies, right? You buy a little bit, but try and make sure you can buy into that next because you are kind of expecting to lose this one. And it looks like that's a thought process for a couple of these players. As we're stacked up towards A. I don't know what we're gonna. I feel like we're gonna see the same thing that we saw in Pistol, right? Just very slow. Oh my goodness, no! Mitch gonna take down Steel right off the rip over towards B, and now you have to worry if you're 100 Thieves. This Cloud9 roster is opening up space everywhere in all 3 of these rounds.
And it's very well done. There's only 2 players on defense on the A side. I mean, you still have the Paranoia from Nitro, you still have some Frost Orbs, and Hiko, even playing from Boiler, his shock darts could prevent the plants very quickly too, so it's not too bad with what they have, but if Cloud9 Blue explodes into the site, they still have the numbers advantage.
Ethan gonna put up the wall there. This is something that you have to be wary about. Is he playing on top of it? Is he playing behind it? 100 Thieves happen very tricky with this wall in particular, but it's gonna get shot down immediately. Ethan's able to trade kill back on the round, so 4v4 we will go. Oh, another one to come on through. Relics to fall. That smokes off the board once more. Before he's gonna trade it back to running the gun. Too strong with the Spectres for a couple of kills. Now 100 Thieves once more on the back foot. They've got heaps more HP.
Big
No,
flank.
they do not. It's all up to Asuna, who gets shut down as well. Cloud9 figure it out.
That is crazy. Look at the amount of HP remaining for those 3 players of Cloud9 Blue. After that first kill onto Steel, I was like, yeah, this could be it for C9 Blue, but after they broke that satchel charge onto the wall, and you saw how good Ethan was to actually hold the initial line, like the 2 first frags that he had, even it kind of stressed out Cloud9 Blue. You saw the shock darts coming out from Zeta. It bounced out from the front and side back towards where their teammates were, so I don't even know if he did some accidental damage at that point, but it was a little bit chaotic where you kind of saw a glimpse of hope for 100 Thieves, but you saw that running gun after from the Spectres. It was just good enough for them to capitalize on that round. Oh, nice.
Yeah, speaking of capitalize, Ethan go back to his killing ways. Living up to that Battle Sage name, playing nice and postured up forward. Able to find another kill through the smoke. Leaf biting off more than he can chew there. Trying to find some damage to the dark cover, but it just gives it away. Unfortunately, there was a resurrection, so a winnable eco round now looking not so winnable for 100 Thieves.
At least there's a couple of ult orbs that you could get out of those 2 kills that Ethan was able to get. So pretty decent to start things off, but at least it gives an open sight. You got a free plant, you even got spawn control. It's still not going to be looking good for 100 Thieves, but the damage has been done at the beginning.
And they do buy out that resurrection. They force it in this eco round as Mitch picks up another onto Nitro. Boys watching the flank, and now it's all up to Steel. Vandal in hand, not going to amount to too much. 2 kills on the end of things. And if we're taking a look at deaths, there hasn't really been a whole lot of them on this Cloud9 Blue side of things. But in this round, Vance, we're getting something a little different. An operator.
Yeah. Operator outside for Steel. I think they've realized it too. The amount of times that you had these battles long range that was coming into the fruition for Relics and of Mitch on this B side. Now Steel is going to be opping it. He's got a turret also to watch so he could fall back at the same time. They have a lot more firepower to hold up towards this B side too, where they could focus a lot on faster rotations on mid and A side. So let's see if they could get something out of that and see C9 Blue how they want to try to push back against this operator.
And they're just trying to play it quick, take the fight right to him on this B site. Recon Bolt going outside the map. Unfortunately, probably not going to get too much. His boys goes up top. Steel, how do you answer back? It's Nitro to help him out, but Zeta trades it. 1 for 1 we go. Now another one sat down by the operator. Still somehow alive on this side. Finds another kill to close it out. An aggression matched by stalwart defense.
That was the biggest thing. You talked about that recon dart that was kind of missed. That would have been a crucial ping that could have figured out where Steel was going to be, because you saw how fast Poise was trying to get in and take him down. They didn't get the ping out. They couldn't clear out the corner. So Nitro, from the way he was hiding towards that B cubby in that closet, was great support for Steel. But how did they push him back initially? Zeta actually pulled out the Allen drone at the entrance of the B main, then went into the recon dart, which is great ways to counteract against Steel's operator. But with that missed recon, it's something that they could potentially test again later on.
Definitely one you wish you had back, as this time that owl drone going to be used to try and clear out things towards mid. Not going to find a tag, so Hiko safe to spray on through, but Tube not the safest spot for Asuna to play. Now with your raise off the board, that's a whole lot of utility that you wish you had back.
Very nice pick, and that's what you want from Leaf, right? Underrated so far for Cloud9 Blue, big entry, and now it even cancels out the operator, or should I say, yeah, the operator, and also the lockdown's about to come out, but they can still spray to take it down.
Yeah, the lockdown, as soon as Steel put it down, unfortunately he gets hit on the flank as the spike looks to get planted. Hiko tries to push him off with the Hunter's Fury. Now, not quite the situation you want to be in, but we'll see if Zeta can live up. And maybe Hiko can spare some of the clutch gene here in this one. Ethan gonna be the first to fall. Spike now to be planted, and a recon bowl giving away the information. So they're just gonna run him down. A nice resurrection to get Asuna back online, and he closes out the round.
Yeah, that was a very important res that they got out in the end. Even that 1 versus 1 would have been tough, but it would have been an interesting storyline as we highlighted the head-to-head between Zeta and Hiko, and we would have talked about that Silva diff, you know. But it's a team game, and they did perfectly there for 100 Thieves to leverage on those ultimates to get that res up and be able to come back into this round, because it looked very grim at some point. That kill from Relics was huge, but the positioning has been very good from both of these teams so far, from pulse plan situations of Cloud9 Blue and trade opportunities for 100 Thieves on his retake. So we're starting to see a much closer game now that the economy is coming right for 100 Thieves. So yes, it was maybe a 4-0 at first, but you could start seeing a much closer game now going into the later rounds of this half.
And it's still aggression from Nitro, playing a bit more postured forward as he be pushed away. Poise tries to dash away, but still gets sat down, and Asuna with the showstopper will find another. Now this B push completely stunted by another kill on Mitch and 100 Thieves. They've seemed to got the read on this Cloud9 team.
And that was just a small change for that, for the composition or the defense positioning for 100 Thieves, right? You have Steel opting towards the A side instead. His utility's there if there was somebody that's going to battle towards the A side, but let's check that in a little bit. Zeta gets 2 great openings. We thought it was over, but it's not over yet for Cloud9.
Yeah, and Zeta, maybe not in the way of the clutch, but still looking pretty good when it comes to that Sova diff. Top of the leaderboard when it comes to the frags. Now 46 HP isn't a whole lot to write home about as Relics looks to get that spike down. Hiko gonna toss out that recon bolt and maybe sniffs out Zeta there. It's down to the last now. Relics needs to find a 1v3 clutch and quite a bit of utility use. Still a drone available, a shock dart for Hiko should they choose to use it. Hiko is actually just a swing. Hit the spot and Steel will hit the shot. 100 Thieves bring us within 1.
Yeah, so just to get back on that change of positioning for the defense for C9 Blue. So operate on the A side, they put Asuna towards the B side because he also had the showstopper. So they had great firing power to hold things off. And let's highlight Nitro at that point too. Nitro is on the top of the green boxes, right? He's actually going to get spotted, and also Poise is trying to run away. And as he springs, like, screw it, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to try to take him down. Doesn't even focus on the right side because Asuna is aiming down the sight and covering him on that right side. So again, positioning set up for trades is very good for 100 Thieves on the defense so far. And they just got to figure out how they could manage to take down the first line of defense. They're always able to tag away the person in the back, but they still can't get advantage of that like they did in the first 2 rounds of this game.
Yeah, the first couple of rounds, just that feeler, you know, you don't get a whole lot to feel out the opposition. You get 1 rifle round if you lose pistol, and then you have to wait for the next one. So that's exactly what we saw 100 Thieves start to come online in that next. And that the utility usage, they're saving the wall for quite possibly these retakes. It's the alarm bot inside of Kitchen rather than that Sage wall blocking out tubes. So they're not too worried about the mid control.
And it's Ethan also using that wall for, like, funneling out, as you said before, like the pistol round, right? If he puts it on 410, you're focusing everybody on the right side. So playing in the back of the site under Heaven's side is very huge as a good position on the defense.
Switching up not only where they're playing, but who's got the operator. It's Nitro this time around. Found the first kill, finds another after the resurrection. Leaf is going deep into the back lines, picks it up with the showstopper, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the squad falling down around him. Poise trying to grab whatever he could, and there was a quick hit towards A, but it was stuffed by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and we talked about the feeler, right? Now that you have the weapons, now that you have the money, you're actually starting to take the reins of this match for 100 Thieves. You see how it looked very dominant for C9 Blue at first, but now that you see the level of comfort for 100 Thieves in these last few rounds, they were the ones that pressed first. Owl Joan towards the mid side, Asuna pushing forward all the way down towards 2, and they just had the fastest flank as well as soon as C9 Blue started working towards this A site. So these things are looking very good for 100 Thieves right now, and Cloud9 Blue, through all these rounds, were always able to buy before. We finally have that bank now that is broken for Cloud9 Blue, and let's see if they could actually get the Blade Storm into work for Poise.
You find a couple of kills here, and you match that with a couple of weapons. The rest of the squad having armor. Oh, and the first one not going to go their way. Poise able to trade it back, and Mitch picks ones up with the Frenzy. So there's 2 rifles down. Now picked up, and Poise might cross, but yeah, quite possibly toss that one on over. Mitch trying to get the plan. Unfortunately, low HP, so needs to be wary. And Poise continues to go to work with the Blade Storm, and Relics is there to trade him out. The buddy system online. But who better in a 1v3 than Hiko? Low HP, on 2 players. He is smoked out, unfortunately, and the wall is there. Gonna break it down, look to peek. Instead, it's Zeta from downtown with the Sheriff. A thrifty victory to get C9 back on the board.
Hey, you wanted Poise to do something with those Blade Storms, and he delivered. And even, I think he maybe even had a wrong address and delivered too much at a doorstep, because that was actually really nicely done. But I think that couldn't have happened thanks to a bait from Leaf, right? The rappel into the tower side of the A site, spotting actually Ethan to spray him down, and to trade immediately to drop that Vandal for Relics to even capitalize on a kill himself with that Vandal that was picked up was crucial right now for how Poise was a key instrument to the victory of Cloud9 Blue in that previous round. But because we've won so many rounds for 100 Thieves in the past, that we had a 4-4 tie game, they're still looking very good on the money here.
Oh, and Nitro, again, was looking to posture aggressively, but he gets spotted out in the last possible second by that recon bolt. And then the drone on the back end, so they know exactly where that Omen is playing after the shrouded step. Paranoid to try and slow things down for just a bit, but it's another quick hit towards A. Ethan just missing out on the swing. Leaf gonna find the first, looking for more, running and gunning, but it's Relics instead to pick it up. Zeta inside the dark cover, trying to create more chaos on this A site. They cut it down to the last 2, and things are looking very favorable here for Cloud9 Blue. The spike goes down. The players will not. 4v2 still remains, making a 4v1, and Hiko wasn't good for it in the last. Doesn't have a whole lot here in this, as he's already used that recon bolt. And
It's 4 players.
that's gonna be all she wrote.
Yeah, I think at this point too, when we kind of went into the pregame and you heard maybe the discussion coming into what Hiko was saying, potential on his stream, we don't really want to maybe leverage myself as the last player going in, but he's unfortunately stuck into a lot of these situations on these retakes on the site, which is totally normal, because as a silver player, if you're going to play the retakes for your team, if you still have the Owl Drone available, if you still have a recon dart, you have to stay alive, and you're going to be throwing all that utility to allow your teammates to know where the opponents are, so you have the attempt of a retake. So you'll need a little bit more from the rest of your teammates, the first bloods, the trade-offs that we saw on the B side is not currently happening on A side, but this is going to be early aggression that unfortunately doesn't pay off.
Yeah, Asuna just a bit too low on the shot there, and spikes that rocket onto the top of Belt, not going to find the kill onto Poise. But because of that, some space has been opened up, and Steel maybe not sniffed out just yet. No, Poise ready for it off the back end of the Owl Drone, and once more 100 Thieves find themselves a player down, and once more Cloud9 find themselves stacking up towards the A site.
And Asuna had to run all the way back towards that spawn site to get a heal from Ethan because he was far away. So that means it's an open A site. The Owl Drone's already picked off, and now it's going to be an even harder retake for 100 Thieves.
Ooh, Asuna though getting healed up, making it count. There's your return on investment for using that heal orb. He's gonna find another here. Cloud9 Blue on the back foot, and Hiko looking to delay things for a moment. No, it's Asuna gonna trade out another one, but still getting cut down to the last 2. 2v2 situation right now. Cloud9 fighting for the lion's share of the half. 7 to 5 could be the best. That's all they can get, and Hiko right in his wrongs, not able to find the clutch, but quite possibly being the player they need. Needs a 3K to match. Poise here on the way out. Tailwind to get away. 20 rounds in the magazine. Low HP on Poise, and Hiko finally gets it done.
When it's a clutch on a 1 versus 1, you definitely got to put most of your chips leaning towards Hiko, and that was very well done. Even Poise at 29 HP mechanically played that 1 versus 1 very well. Tried to take the angle, trying to see if he could surprise Hiko on that one too as he was swinging out towards Heaven's side. But as he misses a shot or couldn't land a shot, he dashes away and tries to run the clock down. But when it's a mind game, you try to go for that right timing to try to get that kill. But Hiko, nerves of steel, ice cold in his veins, just waited it out on the top of that wall. Easy kill for that clutch, and saves it actually for 100 Thieves. And actually, he's not the only one that saved it for 100 Thieves. Let's talk about Asuna coming on his way back from that heal to get that 3K as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely huge. Like I said, return on investment. That's all the best you could hope for, right? When you've got a teammate begging you for a heal, you want them to find something on 100 HP, and while Asuna ended up finding 3. And for Hiko, third time was the charm on the clutch, so we'll see if that's now got the juices pumping, as once more Cloud9 Blue, they're leaning over towards A. The spike is down. They're not committing just yet.
We got an op this time too on the attacker side of all things. So it's not in the hands of 100 Thieves anymore. It's Poise going to try to get something, an opening, maybe a sidestep very soon, and that's a nice smoke, and even Asuna with a great kill to start things off.
That is, yeah, that smoke off the back end. Just, you know, one more thing that Poise has to think about outside of all the angles he's already peeking. Things not going to go his way as Relic's going to sneak around the alarm bot there. He is able to do that. So by possibly creating a lot of space, No going to get sniffed out, spotted by Steel and taken down to 7 HP. Maybe could get back for a heal, but not really in a great spot to do it. The rest of the squad, however, bringing up the rear towards B long.
Oh, he's gonna die. Oh no, he's good
No.
for it at least. So he did his job. It's still a 1 minute advantage right now for 100 Thieves, but here comes his push towards B.
And now they're starting to get mowed down. The spike does go through, but Nitro picking up a couple of kills in the round, looking to stun things. Zeta once more back to the clutch scenario, not able to find it. Fans 6-6 at the half. What a game we've got on our hands.
Great way to start things off, right? Winning that pistol was huge for Cloud9 Blue to start that early run on a 4-0 lead. But again, once that money was right, back and forth. You saw that string of rounds that came in for 100 Thieves. Now we're tied up to a 6-6. You turn the page and you want to know what this 100 Thieves have in store right now on the attacker side. Is it going to be that same lurk towards mid side as I mentioned before, or what have they changed? Right now in that previous round, though, I'd like to say that one-way smoke that was thrown at the beginning from Nitro, I felt that it was premeditated right now for the three players too, because when that smoke came out, three of them started moving at the same time, and I think they were all looking at different angles. I think Ethan was on the ground trying to look under the smoke to see if anybody's at orb. You had one looking towards the belt side and one looking towards pipes. And from that smoke, it became sort of like a one-way while that smoke was dropping down for them to capitalize on that kill. I really like what they did there for 100 Thieves. So they have something prepared. They've been practicing right now with this lineup in this comp. Oh, that's missed.
Yeah, that was interesting. I couldn't tell if Mitch missed there or if he was just actually bailing because he
the recon dart
get
possibly. Yeah, possibly the recon dart as well that was thrown out. So he's going to have to fall back, and already we've taken the A side for 100 Thieves.
Completely free here for the plant and the flank. No way in, no way out. It is a 1-for-1 overall, but Poise incredibly far away from that sage means no heal, and Asuna gonna make sure he doesn't find anything, just like Relics did in the last round. Looking like a flawless. Not gonna be that Nitro the only one to fall, but 100 Thieves pick up the pistol in the second half.
That's how you actually make your mark here on that pistol at the second half. You look very one-sided for Cloud9 Blue on the first time, and even the anti-eco was very good for Cloud9 Blue. So 100 Thieves this time on the attack or repeating the same thing, and they're not messing around. We're already pulling out a Vandal on the second round with Asuna.
This is something that I believe against Rice and Meatballs that Dust had talked about, where 100 Thieves, they're starting to, again, just like we saw Cloud9 do, it's a bit more aggressive, but they don't want that bonus to be a coin flip anymore. So they put these rifles in this round, and typically it works pretty well because Asuna is just, he's insane.
He is insane, and he's definitely putting those numbers up. Stat pat, even with the Vandal in the second round would be great because you're also building up your ultimate points. So I think it's good to put that Vandal into his hands, take that long range to your advantage, and try to build that showstopper into the third round if you can.
And on this round, that wall still getting a whole lot of value, as should that heal orb going out. See the return on investment. Spray down. Gonna find one for Asuna. Hiko gonna find the next, and Relic is able to make it hurt a little bit through the smoke. Don't do it to him. It's all up to Mitch, and this one surely swinging the way of 100 Thieves. But then, oh my goodness, Mitch going to work with the classic fans.
Definitely, those were some nice shots, but I'd like to point out one thing. I think after seeing this wall come up on the B side in a plan for 100 Thieves, I'm trying to recall back for like C9 Blue, whenever they finally made it into a side or they tried to go for a plan, I didn't see that many walls come up. So I think it goes back to that playstyle of Mitch too. Like, people talk about the battle sage or whatnot. I don't like to call it that way. I just like the fact that he's lurking a lot with that as a sage, kind of like what he did in the beta days too. Is trying to get an entry, and if he dies, whatever. They don't get a wall, but they could count on the other teammates to try to get a plant down. But keeping that sage alive for Ethan and 100 Thieves is definitely one of the key elements right now for them to try to get these successful rounds.
Oh, man, and Asuna just continues to punish this squad. The attacking side really where he starts to flourish. A 3K in the last, now a 2K here with Cloud9 on rifles. Relic's going to toss out the Paranoia just to try and slow things down. And Poise on the flank, able to find two and dash away. The last one standing now for this Cloud9 squad, but the spike is down. Does Steel have the information? Doesn't have
Yep.
the angle. Yes, he does. The headshot to come on through, and 100 Thieves steal away the rifle.
He doesn't even care about picking up the spike to try to plant or whatnot. He's just going to be... He knows that Poise is coming up the tube. He's in a position to watch under tube if he ever walks back down. I think it's great because he is the one that's going to anchor up. So the second player coming behind from green is going to pick up the spike later, go for a trade, or count on him on that 1 versus 1. And who's that him? It was going to be Hiko. So I think Steel played that perfectly anyways, but it still looked pretty good for Poise the way that he updrafted over the wall, caught some players off guard. Something that 100 Thieves have to look out for.
We're kind of getting the inverse of things, right? Cloud9 having to wait till that next rifle round. It is going to be the knives used once more, though, for Poise, and they've been incredibly potent. 100 Thieves, so much respect. They understand this is an eco. The blades are online. Let's just hang out for a sec.
Definitely. Take your time. Play your default right now. The Blade Storm. Poise is going to push himself. Now that turret, it spotted him. It didn't shoot out, but you see how for 100 Thieves, like, okay, turret spotted. Let's start moving up slowly. But great positioning so far. Sorry, from Leaf at the tower. Spot Steel as the first-hand man walking into the A site.
Catches it nice and early that it's looking to be an A hit. Showstopper going to be used, and of course, Asuna goes good for 1. He's still flying through the air, but he's going to get cut down. The recon bolt is going to get the information. Poise forced to reposition, but it's a 1-for-1 across the map. Make it a 2-for-1. Ethan going to top himself off, but Steel sitting nice and pretty with another frag in hand in this B site. Nitro's been holding it down for quite some time. Says, hey, why don't you guys join me?
Yeah,
and he's going to continue holding it down.
Yeah, they forced to rotate out for a bit. He takes advantage of the position. He's only at 2 HP remaining, but it's good enough. He got enough map control for the rotate to come across. It's looking good for 100 Thieves.
All down to Zeta, who does have a weapon available and a bit of armor, so only a couple of 1-taps and 2 HP. There's one of them. Trying to match that clutch energy. Once more, the head-to-head. The spike, unfortunately, on the opposite side of the wall. Bit of chip damage to try and take away some of that Killjoy utility. Information on Nitro. He's running out of time. He's got to just look to send it. Maybe not going to do that. Looking for the save, but Nitro going to deny that availability. And unfortunately, those kills, fans, 100 Thieves, I mean, they're still sitting pretty in terms of economy.
I want to point out one thing, though. So I'm a boomer, right here, Tanner, and I'm the type of person that comes from a different game where low sensitivity was like the right play and easier to spray control and stuff like that too. But now you're looking at a lot of these young bloods from like Fortnite or even other games that are coming into Valorant where high sensitivity is key. That battle between Asuna with the Showstopper and then Poise with the Blade Storm, it only makes me want to think of how this game is going to be played in 3 years, where everybody that's new into the scene, that's a young blood, that's going to play in a super high sensitivity, how flashy this is going to be as a game later on. I think it's going to be very explosive.
We are already very close to that. Ooh, Nitro gonna fall there. Mitch not looking away. Perfect timing. Find out the ultimate. Unfortunately, gonna go wide on that shot, and there it is. Asuna just playing Quake in the back lines with the blast pack with the Vandal, but Zeta continues to work. Now, Ethan, very aggressive early. Is going to get spotted out by the drone. That could have been it, unfortunately. A reload to come on through, and Zeta was a sit and duck there for a second, Vance.
Yeah, I thought he was going to push forward and try to get that kill, right? Because that first, I guess because of that first flick that he got as a kill on their tube, he's like, well, Zeta technically should be going off his owl drone and not follow up on me, so maybe I should keep my spot and hold the angle. But somehow Zeta is like, screw it, I'm just going to keep out with the owl drone, pings him, and now is probably a huge question mark on Ethan right after. So I still like it, even if he got the trade, like if Ethan even got this kill onto Zeta, it was still up against Poise after. It was a spike plant, maybe he could play the time, it could have been different, but again, it's the guessing game, the mind games that comes into fruition for C9 Blue. So they finally muster up something. This is their first round in the second half right now, Tanner. It took him a while. They finally got it, and we're back in that scenario, very similar, because an operator is now coming out for Cloud9 Blue. They have the money right, now that the attack has been strung on a couple of rounds after losing pistol, you know? So, I don't know, it might be a 10-10 soon.
This is, it's the exact inverse. It was a second rifle that then went the way of the defending squad, so they're starting to get a read, and Poise playing aggressively. Steel not expecting it from the Jet. Will be the first to fall. That's a lot of utility taken off the board, and Your lurk now gone as well. All 4 stacked up towards B. And a spike to follow.
That's one of those things that I hate the most in rank 2. It's like you have a Sova towards the A side. He's going to dart towards the back of the A side. Then you have your duelist, the Jet and the Raze, just plow up towards the A main, and it catches people off guard a lot of times here towards the spawn side.
Although finding a kill. Cloud9 Blue still working against the clock. Leaf gonna use that showstopper. Able to find the kill, a resurrection to come on through. And Asuna actually friendly fire onto Hiko. It's all starting to come crumbling down. And that res was just too far away. They stretched themselves thin. Oh, the defuse did come through.
It did.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
They're just still banging it out at the end after the bell there.
I'm just impressed by the shots that Ethan's still pulling out. As much as I like to talk about the young guns coming into the game, Ethan, who's a seasoned player so far, I mean, still in his younger ages, like mid-20s, if I'm not mistaken. Those are still some crispy shots, but definitely, like, after the hiatus that we saw, unfortunately, a friendly fire off the paint shells just made it a lot easier for Cloud9 Blue to get a defuse with the wall coming up too, right? So there's nothing really more that you could do there for 100 Thieves. Just unfortunate events happening, going down, and it was just off a lot of ultimates that were being thrown towards that yellow side.
And how scary does this get now that you're nearing victory with 10 rounds? You're the first to double digits. But Cloud9 start to figure out 100 Thieves, right? I can only imagine what's going through the heads that nothing seems to be working. Now they find the rifles, and there it is. Imposter down. Lockdown gonna come on through. Nothing really to stop that. So Steel just trying to open up space, and he does it by trading a kill. The spike plant should follow. We should find ourselves in a 4v4 retake. Oh.
Yeah, especially with the lockdown that wasn't blown up by Asuna. It's an easier take right now for 100 Thieves, and they have better positioning on a post plan. We have to know how we're going to attack back for Steel Blue.
Yeah, it's Steel just playing the off angles, catching him with the bow out and able to find another 3 kills on the round, and it's all up to Relic, so 25 HP. But Hiko gonna find that shock dart kill, and finally, 100 Thieves are able to reel it back in 11-8 in the economy. It's not great for Cloud9.
Yeah, and you were wondering, you're asking that question when you see C9 Blue starting to catch up in this game. What are you trying to do for 100 Thieves? How do you attack back? I think this is where it gets important into the later rounds of the game because you've played 18 rounds so far into the map. What is the tendencies right now for the defense? How are they going to play it? You see that Mitch from the piss around from a couple of times. He's trying to play it up close, towards pipes. So they have the Aldrone to come out this time too. They're trying to do the same right now. Mitch is on top of that generator, but they're not going to use any type of utility there yet because they want to work towards B, knowing that Relic's now got pinged out and is forced to fall back.
And they're just pushing the pace. Meanwhile, Steel hanging out in spawn. You might think that he is AFK for this round because he is not showing anything. He takes down the knives, the paint shells to try and push him out. A blast back to follow. Steel finds 2, and he's looking to help his team get to match point here in that spike. They got the 2 rotators. Why play B?
Why was Leaf still looking towards B? The first kill came up there, and you saw that Still had an easy frag, but at least Zeta's in a good position right now. Maybe good for a couple. Nope. It's Steel. It's Steel. He's just too good.
The MVP of both maps yesterday for 100 Thieves, really showing up here when it matters most, not only in that last round to reclaim some momentum for 100 Thieves, but in this one to kick things off, not getting caught out early, and it cuts it down to the last 2. And again, that economy was very shaky. It makes me wonder if Cloud9 are just going to look to save here.
I mean, from their position right now, it looks like they want to try to go for it. If they're able to get a couple of kills early, maybe set up for exits, it's still pretty slow. They just want to make sure that 100 Thieves are going to make a mistake. So far, one mistake has been done, and they're still pressing in. Hey, even forcing out a Killjoy ult, I think this is great right now for the defense.
Didn't Steel just ult last round?
Yep. I mean, he got 3 kills, probably a spike plan, probably picked up a Norb too. I mean, he's up there. He's up there.
My goodness. I mean, what do you even do? I feel like you just have to throw your hands up at that point. Like, oh, well, 2 lockdowns in a row, and we're trying to 2v4 clutch. What is this?
And this is it too, right? We were talking about how do you adapt to these rounds. Maybe they didn't go with the recon dart or the owl drone towards this A side because they're trying to press towards B for 100 Ds. How does Steel adapt? Instead of playing on the low ground, given the vertical advantage over to C9 Blue when they were pushing before, he's taking the high ground towards spawn side, and those were 2. It should have been a second easy kill because I feel that Lee should have kept fighting him still, but then again, it's still taking the upper hand.
Yeah, Steel actually looking to get really aggressive there. Find some damage onto Poison. Is going to be healed on up. Asuna goes up on top of the wall. Finds one kill before getting sat down. And this is game one life on the line for Cloud9 Blue. Match point for 100 Thieves. And they're in a pretty good spot to get it done. Hiko and Nitro, the last one standing. Both resurrections used. Leaf to use those blast packs to try and get on the flank. And it's all up to Hiko inside the dark cover. A near flawless for Cloud9 to hang on a bit longer.
Reses on both sides were super important there to try to salvage that round for 100 Thieves or even try to stay alive for Cloud9 Blue. And it came down to the advantage of how Cloud9 Blue were really close on that rotation right after, right? Following that res, because it was a nice peekaboo that Asuna gave on the top of the boxes. I think it was Relics or Mitch that was playing on top of the double boxes of B. But when after that res, the shotgun that came out, the Buckies from Relics was good enough right there for C9 Blue just to stay alive, thankfully, for 2.05. Now that they stay alive, they have the rifles. The op is back too, and we haven't seen much coming out for the op from Poise though. The last time he tried to do a retake, he got popped off right away. Let's see if he can get it done now for C9.
Again, backs against the wall. Poise holding the angle here. Might find Ethan. He does do just that, and that's also the spike down on the ground. So now they've got quite a bit of information that A might be the play from this 100 Thieves squad. Hiko trying to clear things out with the Hunter Shear, able to find a tag, so a good bit of damage and information. Showstopper into the back, and again it hits the railing a bit too low. Relics able to salvage the situation. Leaf right behind him, cutting it down to just Hiko once more in a 1v4. And you just can't count him out. Oh, he's going to find the last shot. Cloud9 Blue now match the double digits of 100 Thieves as they inch closer to an overtime.
This is getting so close right now. So Leaf is 1 kill away from an ult. The orbs are a little bit too far. Do they want to gamble and risk it that he picks it up on the A side? He's leaning towards that area, but I don't think he's going to have that much support going in yet, unless it's going to be Zeta with potentially like a recon dart or something. But you're looking at it so far. Luckily, 400 Thieves, it is going to be an eco. So you might not need to fight for this orb. Get a couple of kills. The ult's going to come up, but we are nearing some very close ults as well for Steel, if he's able to play like he did the past few rounds. So these last 2 rounds are going to be very crucial right now for C9 Blue, of course, to stay alive into this game, but they have to manage those orb points really well.
And if you're Cloud9 right now, you still have to give a whole lot of respect just because the economy is hindered. These sheriffs can still do damage.
And even if you pick up the ultimate for Leaf, I wouldn't be surprised if he uses it right away too, right? You want to put all the chances in your favor, so take it, get the eco frags, build up some more, maybe with the Vandals after. I mean, you're giving a lot of respect right now for 100 Thieves, but it's still very slow for the attacker side. They're trying to fill it out, like they're trying to get entries like they did with the Vandal, with the Sheriffs before, and that was close. That's a headshot already onto Zeta at that range, 145 onto the Sheriff, and it starts off well for 100 Thieves, sorry.
And they just take their place right inside of Kitchen, heading up onto Poise. Needs to be careful. Okay, 3 players actually rotating from that snowman position, and they're looking to plant the spike up top inside of Tube. There's Asuna picking up the first, the paint shells to try and close things out. And again, you still have Zeta on very low HP, so that Sova needs to be careful before looking to peek again. Still rifles in hand. Sheriffs still in hand for this 100 Thieves squad. And what a way to close out the map this would be. The first kill going to come on through. It's Poise with the operator. Recon Bull going to get the information. And they're just buying so much time. They're corralled. They can't really push up. Mid's now down to 5 HP once more. The Sheriffs are starting to come online. We're at a 2v3, but low HP.
Nitro?
Now Nitro just needs to buy time.
He's got it.
He's got the angle. That's it. Cloud9 Blue, they're not able to find the spike, and that's how 100 Thieves get it done in map 1.
My